Welcome back to Jesus and the Gym and Them. We're still talking about what I wish I knew before I got married. All male panel. Tag your cousins them. All right? So we're going to keep going. We left off talking about misconceptions. They had, sometimes society sets us up to think that marriage is supposed to be a certain way, not realizing that each marriage is unique. So, Nick, we're going to start with you. What's one misconception you had about marriage?
Well, Joy, one of my major ones was what happens in marriage, whether it be a conflict or whatever's going on, it doesn't have to stay in the house. Sometimes if you're having a conflict and you can't resolve it, you have to go outside and get that counseling, godly spiritual counseling from your pastor or someone that you trust, that both of you can talk together and say whatever issue is going on or whatever it may be to get it worked out. And, sometimes it just helps having a third party.
Yeah.
Just hearing it, and it's like, oh, well, I said that 12 times, but you didn't understand it. But that one person said it and it clicked in your head, and that's okay. Sometimes that's just the way you're presenting it is not the way you're receiving it. So.
Yep. Nick is so professional. Y'all see how he said, well, Joy? Okay, we professional on this day. Anyways, so Nick is saying not keep it in the house. He meant, what he explained, getting outside counseling. There's such a stigma on counseling. Now, I'm a therapist, so I think it's just great. I think we all need to get counseling at least once a year, and I think it needs to be a law included in your insurance that you have to get counseling. So many people need therapy. They don't understand. Therapy is great. Somebody gets paid to actually listen to you and not interrupt you. So y'all might want to think about some therapy. I know you got it on your health plan. Get you some therapy in there, even if they only give you 5 sessions a year. Anyways, Tyrone, misconception.
The biggest misconception I had is that communication really is not important. Why I had that conception is because boys grow up and we generally talk like with one word. So we don't understand the importance of communication in a marriage,
So let me ask you a question. How did you flip that?
Well, it's kind of like this. When I thought about it, like barbecue. And this is how I did it. It's like barbecue.
Okay.
Men at a barbecue. Men, we all we think about is the meat. Have the meat there. But for women,
like
women,
where the vegetables and the fruit and the water.
Where's the fruit? Where's the water?
Girl, we've been to some of they football games. They didn't invite us back because we complained about the menu being all meat and chips. Chips.
And then they gotta have the decoration. They even go out and grab some grass and put it on the table for the presentation. That's how women are. That's how women are. And with that misconception, it's kind of like communication. We communicate like one word. We don't have like the details that's needed. And as men, like I said, we grow up just thinking that just one word is just going to cut it, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
So how I flipped that is I began to be around. You got to be around your wife.
Yeah.
Because she has a strength. She has a strength to communicate. She's a great communicator. So I had to allow her submit to her, because sometimes men don't think they have to submit to women, but we do in some instances. I had to submit to her unique greatness of communication to learn how to communicate. And that's how it all panned out, because I had to learn not how to communicate, but how she needs me to communicate to her. And that's called healthy communication.
Yeah.
Because you got communication, but some marriages don't have healthy communication.
Good. That's real good. All right. So thank you for that. I like the submit part. I could park right there. But anyways, let's go to. Okay. So I want you to talk to some young man out there who may be single. He may be an older guy who's single, but somebody he wants to get married. Pretend he was your younger self. What one piece of advice would you give him? Before he got married, he wants to get married. It's a desire. What piece of advice would you give him? I'll start with you, Brian. What you think?
Yeah, I think one of them, I just kind of piggyback off of what Todd just said, is that how I communicate and really how I instruct. I find that I tend to take my tone or whatever from the workplace or just hanging out with the guys, and you talk to your wife the same way. Now, if I'm talking with Nick or Ty, I'm just like, hey man, go grab the thing.
Yeah.
Go grab the screwdriver. Go get this. And there's no hurt feelings. That's how we talk to each other. But when I'm explaining something, you know, with my wife, tone, how fast you say things, all those, you know, are a factor where I have to kind of flip the script and say, hold on, look at who's receiving the message.
Yeah.
Right.
I can talk a certain way at my job. I can talk a certain way on the basketball court. I can talk a certain
Right.
way, you know, even at prayer or amongst the guys, and we get it and we know.
Yeah.
That is just it's different when you're communicating with your wife. So you have to have another level of patience, maybe understanding, and understanding who's receiving that message. So that's one thing I would give to the younger fellas is you're not being fake. You're just understanding and dwelling with your wife according to knowledge.
Come on,
what kind of
brother.
person is, how does she receive messages? So that's one of the things that I would try to help instruct.
And one of the things I would say to a wife in that position is be open with your husband. If you say, you kind of said that sharp, or are you tired? Because you're kind of talking like you're irritated. So actually say what you're observing. Don't say, you being mean, because now you become accusatory, and that's how arguments start. Say what you are observing. You seem tired. Sometimes they'll say, I'm not tired, why did you say that? And then you can say, because you're talking to me, you cut me off, you kind of harsh. And so as you give that feedback, you're teaching someone how to treat you. You're teaching someone, okay, that doesn't work. Because you have a part in it too. Don't just go get in the closet and get quiet. That's what women do. They shut down and just, nothing. What's wrong? Nothing. Don't play those games. We got time for games. Anyways, Nick?
I would say if you hear from God and he says that this woman is supposed to be your wife, then one of my favorite words, my wife knows this all the time, is faith. Faith. I'm always talking about faith. I'm always talking about faith, about whatever. And the Bible says we walk by faith, not by sight. And for me, when the Lord revealed that was my wife, I was kind of like, Lord, she don't look nothing like I thought, or whatever it may be. And I was kind of lost, but then I was just faithful to doing what He asked. She kept showing me. It's like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing all this, and then eventually I was like, oh yeah, it just snapped in my head. It took a breakup for us, actually, for me to realize that.
Wow.
For me to realize that I'm tripping, and finally, I prayed about it, and then I think it was 2 days later, I called her and was like, I was tripping. I apologized. We got back together and we got married. I think it was a year later.
All right. I have a question I'm going to come back to. Something he hit on was she didn't look the way I expected to see. I told you about having those lists on physical appearance. I had a list too, but you keep that list flexible when it comes to appearance.
Yes.
Now, I had this list made out about what my husband's going to look like. My husband didn't, but you know what? When he came, I was like, that's exactly what I wanted. You really don't have a clue what you really want in appearance because you're going off of your past and past relationships. But when God does it, He does it right. The man showed up. I was like, I like everything about him. And wasn't nothing on that list physically, but I love his physical appearance. See, God knows you, so you got to trust Him with that. So, lambs, this is Jesus, the Gym and Them. I am Joy Edwards, and we will be back with our all-male panel.